Welcome to the first session of the Celloly Beginner Cello Course. I am so excited you're here. We're going to have so much fun over the next few weeks. As we go through these videos, watch them as many times as you need until you feel really comfortable with the material. Then, after each session, go to our private group and post a video or a picture of yourself practicing what we learned. We want to see what you're doing. I want to see what you're doing, and I'll be in that group helping everybody every step of the way. And your peers can help you too. It'll be like a little group project. It'll be so much fun. First, to get started, we just need a few things. Make sure you have a cello and a bow from your local music shop. I highly recommend renting an instrument first before buying until you really know if you like the cello. It's way cheaper that way, and the instruments are always better quality than if you were to buy online. Next, you'll just need a few accessories. The first one I recommend getting is this. This is a rock stop. And this one that I have folds out like this, and it attaches to the chair. And what this does is it holds your end pin right here so it doesn't slip out while you're playing. You can also get little round ones that us cello players call donuts. So those are easily found either at your local music shop or on Amazon. The next thing I recommend getting is some rosin. So this is my rosin. Your cello, when you go to the rental store, it might come with rosin. That's perfect. You don't need anything fancy right now. We're just getting started. But if you have fancy rosin, that's great too. So once we start using the bow, you'll definitely want some rosin. The last few things that you'll need for this course are applicable if you are printing out the supplemental material that I'm providing. So you'll just need a music stand and a pencil. You can find a cheap music stand anywhere on Amazon or at your local music shop. It doesn't have to be fancy. Again, it can just be a regular folding stand, just something to hold up your music in front of your face instead of putting it on a table or the floor while you're playing. So that'll enable you to have proper posture while you're playing the cello. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to go get that stuff. You ready? Okay, go get it. And now. All right, are we good? You have everything you need? All right, let's get started. I'm so excited. The first thing we're gonna do is talk about some of the names of the parts of the instrument. That way you know what I'm talking about through these videos when I say these weird words. So to begin, we have the cello. Here's my cello, and there are lots of different parts that we're going to talk about. First, this part right here, that is called the bridge. So the bridge holds up the strings, and it is not glued in. So just be very careful with the bridge. Try not to knock it down. If it does fall down, that's okay. Just go back to wherever you rented, and they'll be able to fix it for you. The next thing we'll talk about are the pegs. So these are the tuning pegs, and this changes the pitch of the strings. So hopefully when you got your cello from the rental shop, they tuned it for you. These, be very careful with them, because if you are playing with them and you turn too hard one way or the other way, it could break a string, or the string could fall off. Oh no, not the end of the world, but just be careful with it. The next thing we'll talk about are the strings themselves. This is what we're going to be learning right away. So we have 4 strings, and in a little bit you'll learn all the different names of the strings. We also have this black part right here. This is called the fingerboard, and that is called the fingerboard because you put your fingers on it. Kind of funny, kind of simple, but it's true. So that's where we will put our fingers eventually. Not on day one, but eventually we'll put our fingers right here of our left hand. The next important part to learn of the cello is the end pin. So this is the thing at the bottom. In a minute here, we're going to learn how to take the end pin out and how far to pull it out. So these are the most important parts of the instrument. Let's get started. So to get started, I'm going to take my cello, hold the neck, this long part where the strings are, in my left hand. Then I'm going to take my right hand, carefully hold the bottom of the cello, and put the cello in my lap, just like this. Next, I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to locate this little screw thing right here by the end pin. I'm going to turn it to the left, so think lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, just once, just to loosen it, and then take my right hand, pull out the end pin. So be careful, it's very sharp, but you'll be fine. The distance or the length of how much you pull out the end pin isn't super important right now because we might be adjusting it in a minute. So I would pull it out maybe a foot or a foot and a half, just for now. Then I'm going to make sure I tighten this screw so the end pin doesn't go back in or come out more. See, it's stuck here, so that's perfect. Next, I'm going to very carefully use 2 hands, and I'm going to put the cello down. So I have a hardwood floor, so I am using the end pin holder, the rock stop. So right away, here's something interesting. So I notice that my cello is too high. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back on my lap, loosen this again, pull it in just a little bit. This step might take a few tries. It's okay. Just be patient with yourself. All right, so this looks good and feels good to me. So I'm sitting now in my chair and the top of the cello is to my left. So it's not this way, but this way, because we use our left hand on the fingerboard, just like this. So one way to know that I'm sitting correctly and holding the cello correctly is to think about a few things. So this pointy part of the cello can go right about the inner knee. So right here on both knees. You should be able to hold the cello with no hands, just with your knees, and it should feel pretty comfortable. The next thing you can think about is the top of the cello right here hits about your sternum. So everybody is different, everybody's shaped differently, so just find what works for you, but it should hit about your sternum. And then another way you can tell that it's the right length is that the C-peg, which my C-peg is missing, but you'll have a peg right here, just like this one. This should hit about the top of your left ear. And so if you've done all of those things, you should be pretty set up and ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is learn the names of the strings and how to pluck. So first, how to pluck. How do we do this? There's a certain way to do it. So take your right hand and with your thumb and your pointer finger, make an L. It'll look like a backwards L to you. So with this L, take your thumb and right on the side of the fingerboard, about halfway down between the top of your cello and the end of the fingerboard, you're going to put your thumb. You can also hook it underneath if that's more comfortable. With your free pointer finger, you can use this finger to pluck the strings. So some things to think about right away. Don't pluck the strings in that empty space between the end of the fingerboard and the bridge, because eventually that's where your bow is going to go, and we don't want all the oils of our hands to get the strings all dirty. So with our L on the fingerboard, you can just lightly brush the top of the strings. Be careful not to hook the string and pull it up like that, because you risk breaking a string if you do that. So just lightly brush the top. You can play around with this. I'm going to play around with this just for a minute. When you're ready, we can talk about the names of the strings. On the cello, we have 4 strings, as we learned already. Our lowest string, so the string to your right, the thickest string, is called C. This note is C. So can you take your L, put it on the fingerboard, and pluck just C? 1, 2, ready, go. C. Good job. Okay, let's try to pluck 4 C's in a row now. So we'll do it together. Okay, so first I'll show you. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's try it together. 1, 2, together, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Why don't you practice this yourself? You can pause the video until you feel really comfortable plucking that C string. All right, now we're gonna go on to the G string. So G as in Gatorade or goat, G. That's our next string. So let's pluck the G string 4 times, just like we did with the C string. So we're gonna pluck it just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do it together. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. job. Take a moment, you can pause the video, practice plucking the G string. You can add the C and G. I recommend saying these note names out loud while you're plucking them so you can help memorize them easier. The next string we're going to learn is the D string. That's our second highest string, D. So let's pluck the D string 4 times together as we have the other strings. So 1, 2, together, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. All right, our last string that we're gonna learn is the A string. It's our highest string, so the string furthest to your left. So the A string, let's pluck that 4 times together. Ready? 1, 2, together, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job. Awesome, awesome. So let's go and just pluck all the strings together, and I'm going to say the string names while I do it, and I might switch it up a little bit. So watch this video a few times and try to catch on and see if you can play with me. So first I'm going to go from lowest to highest. So the notes are C, G, D, A. Now highest to lowest, it goes A, D, G, C. Now you try that. Go from lowest to highest, then highest to lowest. Awesome. All right, next what we're gonna do, we're gonna switch it around a little bit. We're gonna do something called a call and response. So basically, I'm going to play something and then you're gonna play it right after me in the 4 beats directly following the notes that I play. So it might sound like this. C, G, D, A, C, G, D, A, D, G, C, A, D, G, C. And of course, you would pluck those notes after I play. So let's try it. Ready, and C, G, D, A, D, G, C, C, G, D, G, A, D, A, C, D, G, D, A. All right, so it got a little crazy there. Hopefully you followed along. Feel free to try that as many times as you need. This is super fun. So what I want you to do is to just get comfortable plucking all of these strings individually and try to memorize the names of the strings instantly. We want it to be super fast, just like I'm saying it. That's gonna help you in this process. Great job. You've completed the first session of our beginner cello course. I am so proud of you for making this huge step. So your assignment is to practice this whole week plucking your open strings and taking your cello out of the case, pulling the end pin out to the correct length, sitting up straight, nice and tall, and plucking each string while saying the names of the strings. So it may seem kind of basic to start with, but I promise this is going to set you up for a really successful future. Next, what I want you to do is to record a video of yourself playing the open strings and saying the names of the strings out loud. Post it in our private group on this website, and everybody else who's taken this course will be able to see your videos and offer advice or congratulate you or help you in any way. And I'll be there every step of the way as well. So if you have any questions, I will be there to help you. And of course, if you have questions anytime during any of these videos, feel free to email me. Thanks so much for watching the first video. Happy cello playing, and I'm so glad you're here.